treasurer, so thank you both. Thank you for coming, Noah. All right, well, we are obviously hosting the April board meeting, and I have some of my staff here. I have many of my staff that we had 2 baseball games this evening. We had children's games going on, gymnastics going on, practices going on. So those who were able to make it are here. And so I'll start at the back table with Sally Long. She teaches 7th grade science. Trevor Odom, 8th grade science. Becky McCabe, 7th grade math. Robin Burgess is 7th and 8th grade special ed math. Chris Koontz is 8th grade math. Doing my back tables. Alicia Smith is our head custodian. She'll also be recognized by KC. Caitlin Watkins is our 8th grade counselor. Margie McElhaney is 7th grade special ed English, and that's McKenna with her back to me. Kurt Dixon is our assistant principal. Kelly Blevins, 8th grade math. David Gray, 7th grade civics. Keaton Nelms, 8th grade science. Katie Barr, 7th grade English. Debbie Williams, 8th grade U.S. history. Kat LeGrand, 7th and 8th grade art. Mary Ellen Dotson is our librarian. Angie Williams, oh, there's Betty Deathridge. Sorry, you were hiding behind Angie. 8th grade ELA. Angie Williamson, 7th grade ELA. Looking at each of my tables. Okay, and these are my wonderful staff. They really come through at all times. They are complete rock stars, and I could not do this job without them because each of them always give 150% every day, all the time. So they're a wonderful staff to work with and work for. So welcome to Randy Hughes.
We got Mr. Steve Breon, Randy Louderwheel, Frank Weeks in the back, Frank Maffeo from HVAC. We got Kenneth Lewis in the back. We got Jerry Gessel. We got Miss Kay. She's a rock star there, everything. Can I get the transportation guys? For anybody that works with transportation. Mr. Rick Ramsey, bus 82, Laquita, it's his monitor. Jay Dremmy, mechanic. Tracy Pruitt, bus 83. Steve, bus 81. Michelle Morton, bus 29. Training Gertz, unit 1. Special needs. Jan Martin, she's our floater. Of course, she'll be back in about 8 weeks. Tracy Holloway is our bus coordinator. Paul Parker's bus 85. Jerry Gessel, Unit 2. Alicia Smith is the monitor for bus 83. Sharon Riley is bus 87. Dan Heathcock is bus 84. Did I miss anybody? We had a few that didn't get to make it. Crystal Wilson, she's a monitor for Unit 1 with the special needs. But they do tremendous. It's been the busiest year that we've had in a long time. We've got shuttles every hour. I don't know how they do it, but they seem to get it done every day. Most of these guys that work with us, especially the transportation department, work for athletics. So you see them around all the time working the concession stand, whether it's a concession stand or seating people or watching the gate. These guys right here will end up working 10, 12, 14 hours a day just to help athletics out. And I know Singleton appreciates that. I want to talk about the move. I know it's been just about a year, but that move was something special. And it wasn't for these guys right here, if they just stood up, make that happen. And it's unbelievable watching them do that. I was moving in March this last summer, and I couldn't have done it without them. I still don't know how they got it done, but they got it done, and it's amazing. Let's talk about electric buses. Paul, you buses right now, which is equal to about 5,000 gallons of fuel. So you can add that up real quick and see what fuel prices are. So you're looking around 20 grand saving the district already. We haven't had really a single issue on the buses besides little things, but not where we couldn't drive it. So I'm gonna hand this over to Paul, let him talk about the buses.
Great, good afternoon, everyone. Let me tell you, we're blessed and we're fortunate to be able to drive some of the state-of-the-art equipment of school buses right now. These buses have been a blessing. Let me tell you, it's, compared to driving the diesel buses, a lot less noise, you don't have the noise pollution, you don't have any of the exhaust pollution, and the buses are real quiet. So you have less of a discipline problem, so you can pay more attention to your kids, you can hear something's going on with the buses. The buses are easier to drive, they're less wobbling when you turn, and they accelerate from point A to point B quickly and safely. They have all the state-of-the-art safety equipment on it and stuff, doors, locks, great air conditioning, and it has boosted the morale of the transportation department. And it also makes our kids real happy to be on the school bus. So I have to take my hat off to KC, telling them the initiative he took to pursue this to make this happen. So, because this is how you retain your people, and this is how you make the school looking good by taking the initiative to good, clean equipment out there on the road. So it makes us look good for the community, good return for the taxpayers, and the next time we ask for something, we won't have a hard time getting it. It's a pleasure driving them. I speak for all the bus drivers and stuff. I think it's a great day to be a Buffalo, and we all enjoy and we appreciate our jobs because we have good equipment and great leadership.
I want to share a few stories with my people. They're awesome. One story just happened here recently. Miss Jan Martin, she's taking a whole busload of Peterborough kids up to Poto. And if y'all remember that, like I do, me and Tracy do, because we wasn't in panic mode, we were trying to figure out how to get these kids back. And it was a day that, first day that they said, oh, we're gonna have tornadoes, we're gonna have tennis ball size hail. And it wasn't gonna hit Poto till 4 o'clock, which is exactly the time that she should be leaving Poto. So I made the call to Miss Meadows and I made the call to Kathy to see what we thought, because I really didn't need a bus driving through tennis ball size hill like they said it was gonna be. So we made a move to call and kind of get them back on the road. If they could get here by 2 o'clock, that would be great. So we called Miss Jan. Thank you, Jan. Told her not to panic. Let's load the kids up. Let's get you back home. She called me 7 minutes later, and she had took a bad step and completely broke her ankle. We didn't know it at the time that it was broke. She took about 10, 15 minutes, got her composure back. She called me back. She goes, I can make it. I'm okay. She gets back. She goes to the doctor. It's broke. Not only broke, she had to have 13 screws in it, and she's about 8 weeks from recovery now. So that's how tough Miss Jan is. She was going to retire this year. She's still going to retire. Hopefully she'll be back next year. Work a little bit part-time for me. But that's just the folks that we have. They care about these kids. They care about us. And she was going to make it happen whether I like her being able to drive or not. So that's a pretty cool story. Also, got a story from special needs. I got a phone call about, I don't know, it was probably about a month ago, 3 weeks ago from Preston. And he said, hey, who's your special needs drivers? And I said, well, I got Michelle and Trina. He goes, it was Michelle. And I said, what are you talking about? Because I hadn't heard anything. And basically what it is, a lot of you guys haven't heard this story, but Preston was telling me that he don't know how it happened or whatever, but we had a kid that Michelle picks up every morning. It's 2 brothers. And the first brother come out, he was a kindergartner and a first grader that went to Preston's. The first kid comes out and says, my brother's crying, he's not getting on the bus. And she was like, why are you not getting on the bus? And she goes, I don't know. About the time Grandma stepped out, she goes, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. So luckily we have Jackie, which is the aide for that bus. She stayed on the bus, and Michelle, the grandmother, let Michelle in their home. Michelle got down to his level, talked to him, and he was really worried about his grandpa was going to the doctor appointment, right? He didn't know if grandpa was going to come home. So Michelle got on his level, reassured him that grandpa grandpa's gonna be okay, and he's gonna be there before you get back home from school. Long story short, made the trip, hadn't missed a day since. So that's a pretty cool story, going the extra mile and getting these kids to school. So Michelle, we appreciate you.
Can I make one more statement? Which I think
Absolutely.
is relevant? Real good, good story. Tracy Stewart, what's your name? Trina, stand up, and Steve. A lot of people don't know, being a school bus operator is one of these jobs that may be underappreciated sometimes. But I want you guys to think about something. We take somebody in to our community, our Buffalo family, and they train. First week on the job, after they train, they're turned loose with now a $200,000 piece of equipment. Now, many jobs do that within the first week. And also, a cargo that they're carrying that nobody can put a price on. Think about it, that's a lot of responsibility to walk in for your first week or two on the job. So, my hands off to our new bus drivers that came in, because they came in first 2 weeks, when they came into school, trained, took over a route, operated and stuff, and they're here with us. And guess what? They're driving accident-free mileage out there. The school has been blessed. Our drivers have been doing a great job, and we're lucky. A lot of schools can't say this. But think about that. $200,000 piece of equipment and a cargo that you can't put a price on. Yeah, our job is just as important, or maybe more important, than anybody else in the school is. So take pride in it. I do.
Y'all remember when it got mighty cold? We were out of school for a few days. I think it was a Monday night. Sitting there eating dinner with my wife. She said, "What are your plans tomorrow?" She said, "She ain't got school." And I said, "Well, I gotta go check the buildings." And about 15 minutes later, my phone rang. It was Mr. Mark Lewis. Mark Lewis called me and he goes, "What are we doing tomorrow?" I said, "Well, you're not doing nothing. I'm gonna go walk these buildings." He goes, "No, you're not." He said, "I'll meet you wherever you're gonna meet me. What time?" I said, "Well, I'm gonna start a computer vault about 9 o'clock. He goes, "I'll meet you there." But for him to come out of his way on a day that he really didn't have to work and to call me and say, "I'm gonna meet you there, we're gonna walk these buildings," says a lot about Mark. And says a lot about my other guys too. So I appreciate Mark, I appreciate all my guys, all they do. And not only do they just do maintenance, I mean, Frankie's been trimming bushes over at Washington, he trimmed the bushes at Central Office, he trimmed the bushes at Peterball. Randy Loudermill, not only does he do maintenance, y'all didn't know this, but he goes and picks up students every morning. He takes students home every evening. So he's a big part of the transportation deal that. Mr. Steve Rio, he's been our fire guy since day one over at Will Rogers, which most of you guys know that. Frank Weeks can build about anything that he puts his eyes to. Jerry Gessel, same way. He can do a little bit about everything. Jerry Gessel drives the morning route on the little bus. He drives an afternoon route in the same bus. He works maintenance over at William Gay in Evansville. He's also their custodian. So there's a lot of things, not just HVAC with Frank. Frank's been stepping out and picked up the leaves just the other day in front of Will Rogers. That doesn't go unnoticed, but I notice it, and I appreciate every one of them. On all of our bus drivers, they do the same thing. We have people stepping up every day, just like today, that lends a helping hand no matter what it is. If we're down a route, somebody's like, "I'll pick them up." If we have a kid that we're trying to find, everybody's out looking. So it's hats off to these guys because they do a heck of a job. They do a heck of a job. Is that all?
Well, from us to all of you, the staff here at Randy Hughes Middle School, and to all the transportation and maintenance staff from us, thank you so much for what you do. We understand the pressure that you're under. We all love this district, and for being in Buffalo, it means a lot to us. So thank you. At this time, this is a good time for you. If you want to go home, you can go home now, and then we will adjourn. But thank you all for being here, and have a great rest of the week.
Hey, Frank. Let's go rake some leaves.
Casey.
Okay, we're gonna be moving on to 5.1, Executive Director of Athletics Report, Mr. Singleton.
All right, here we go. Okay. Well, just a few things going on. Is this all on camera? I hope so. A few things going on this spring, and with our spring sports, got a lot of things going on. Right now, we'll start with baseball. Baseball is currently tied for first in their district. We have district games this week versus Tahlequah. We're also hosting 2 varsity baseball tournaments, the 11th and 13th, and the 18th through the 20th. So we'll be really, really busy at Mike Geek Field. Soccer, our soccer boys are currently tied for first in their district as well. We have district games this week versus Lockmack and Choctaw. Our soccer girls are in 5th, but they have had 2 heartbreaking one-point losses and 1 in overtime. But they're battling, playing really, really hard. We expect them to turn it around here shortly. Our golf program, Coach Bond's doing a great job with those guys. They had 2 first-place finishes last week in Tahlequah and Coweta, and at those same tournaments, our girls finished 3rd and 5th. And today our boys finished 3rd at the 5A state preview. No pressure on Coach Bond there, we're staying on him. But we're really good getting our golf program going where we want it. In track, so March 27th and 28th, we hosted our annual junior high and high school track meets. For you guys that don't know, putting on track meet, there's a lot of moving parts. And I thank our administrators for allowing coaches and student athletes to get out and help us with those days. We had 18 teams at our junior high meet, it's the most we've ever had. And we had 16 teams at our high school meet, which is also the most we've ever had. Both those were great successes. Of course, obviously we had great weather, which also helps. At those meets, our boys finished 2nd, our girls finished 5th. Coach Skimbo's done a great job of getting our numbers up. We're actually running a JV track team right now of freshmen and sophomores, trying to get those guys some meets as well. But they'll be running Chandler this week. Tennis is improving every week, both boys and girls. Coach Burns has got 2 really young squads. They had 2 4th-place finishes last week in doubles and had a third-place finish in singles, and those guys are just growing to get better every week. Also with tennis, Anita Burns, our junior high tennis coach, she was voted as our OCA Region 6 Junior High Coach of the Year. So we're really, really proud of her and her accomplishments. She is also a junior high volleyball coach as well. She does a great job with our female athletics. So very deserving of that honor.
Okay, so I am gonna talk with you about our numbers, of course. For capacity, we are down 1 from this time last month. We were at 3,059 last month. We're at 3,058 this month. Just to kind of give you the picture here, 24 students have left in the last month. So if you see, it's very fluid. So we're down 1, but we've lost 24, so then that means we've had 23 move in. So trying to keep up with who's going where can get very tricky. The majority of the ones that left, we had 4 that went to Epic. We had several sibling groups that went to, like 2 went to Ardmore, 2 went to Vian, so a lot of families that have moved in the last month. And then just a couple of highlights from the curriculum department. One,
our Project Prevent annual meeting. That was super, super cool because we got to meet with other Project Prevent grantees. And cohort 2, we are 3. And cohort 2, they're on their last year. So they are on year 5 and we're on year 2. And so we got to talk with those people who have been in this process for 5 years now and hear and learn from them what they tried and what didn't work so we don't make those same mistakes in the next 4 years. Learn lots of really good things from them that we can go forward using in our mental health program. And then I sent in February a little snippet on the, what are we calling that, Lori, the bulletin about the Fundamental 5 book study, and we just finished that with the instructional leaders of the district, so that would include our principals, the curriculum department, our instructional coach, and the deputy superintendent. And we looked at the Fundamental 5 practices, which are, they're not hard things, they're very simple things to implement in every classroom. So they are lesson framing, an objective and a close for each lesson, frequent small group purposeful talks, so having your students talking with each other about their learning, critical writing, recognizing, reinforcing, and the power zone, meaning where are you at in the classroom. And so now we'll move on towards our implementation plan for the fall. What will this look like in our classrooms across the district? Any questions?
Okay, I'm gonna move this. Because my luck is I would knock you all down by pulling on the cord. Okay. So, just a little bit about federal programs. Praise Jesus, we finished our consolidated monitoring and today got the okay that we're 100% good to go and they liked what we did. I could have cried. I cried, I think, a few times while trying to get it done. So that's great. We don't have to do that for a few more years again. And now we have folders over all the new things that they required. Also, we've been struggling getting all our federal programs approved. It is April, and they still have not been completely approved. Also, a result of all new people in federal programs, and every time I send in an application, it's being reviewed by a different person. So sometimes what that person tells me to do, the other person tells me to undo. It's been a joy, and I'm saying that facetiously. It has not been a joy, but we think we got it licked because we are on pre-approval 2. Just one more step, and I better knock on some wood right now. We should be good within the week. And then today, Ashley, Dr. Stever, and I met with Choctaw Nation as part of ESSA laws and rules. We have to have tribal consultation, and we had our tribal consultation with Choctaw Nation. They were very helpful and shared all the programs that they do with Native students and non-Native students. Gave us a lot of ideas of how we can plug in even more than we already are, and we're pretty good at that. Ashley's a rock star, and she's done really, really well. And basically that's what they said in the meeting, because there was a new fella there, a new guy there, and he had never been here, and he started telling all the things that they did, and Amanda stopped him and she said, Kyle already does all that. So that was really nice to hear. Does anybody have any questions on federal programs? All right, so if you look at page 2, 3, and 4 of the report where it's the McAllister General Fund revenue, so far this year we've collected $22,807,000-ish. We still have about 10 million more to collect. A lot of that is federal programs money that we haven't gotten to claim so far, as well as the increase in the state funding formula. We still have a few more million coming in before the end of the year. If you look at the top where it's at the ad valorem, if you look at 22-23's ad valorem, that's more what this year should look like. But we've only collected a little over 3.4 million. So we're still waiting on some of it took a while for that money to catch up. And that's where I'm kind of thinking we're gonna end up being this year as well, is that, some of the industry in town has protested their taxes. And then, if you look at what's page 1, we're kind of rocking along. It shows that we still have a fund balance of $5 million. By the end of the year, it won't quite be there, but, we're hoping. We should be around $3 million again this year. We are gonna have a little bit left in our junior high and event center, bond that we'll be able to do some projects with. So we're really looking forward to doing those. We have another large payment coming out of our sinking fund pretty soon, so you won't see a whole lot left in that as well either. It's doing what it's supposed to do. We bonded money and we pay it right back out when it comes in, so it's doing its job. Does anybody have any questions on that page? And then the governmental funds, the treasurer's statement, we have $13,658,000 left in our bank account right now. Again, we're running pretty close to what we did last year, so I'm really glad to see that we are on track and staying where we need to stay so that we carry ourselves through the summer months when we don't get funding from the state. Does anybody have any questions?
I just want to report on the Women in Leadership Conference that we just got back from last week. We were able to take all the ladies who are head principals, and Ms. Rodriguez and Ms. Sontag and Ms. Few and Ms. Baxter all went, and it was a really great time. I hope that we can rotate that out next year, the assistant principals, and that way all of the ladies get to go to that conference. It was a really great time, and one of the things that I think we get a lot out of that is just being able to be around those people that do the same job that they do, and they get to kind of compare stories and learn from each other. And I wish there was a little more of that collaboration time with those people. We went to a lot of sessions, but I think it would be very valuable if they could sit in a room together and collaborate with each other. So that was really good, and I'd just like to echo what Ms. Rodriguez said about the book study. It was a great book study. We took the time to go through each section of it, and all the principals did such a great job in really talking about how that's going to work in their buildings, and I think they're all really excited about that, and I think it's going to make a huge difference in the way that we just do school. And it's not anything new. Like she said, it's real simple stuff, but it's we just got to kind of all be on the same page. I think that'll make a huge difference for our district, so I really want to thank her for taking us through that.
So I'm going to step a little bit on probably a story Casey would probably want to bring to us at some point in time, but he and I were visiting, and we always talk about what can we do for the health and the safety and security of our children. And of course, in the world of transportation, that issue is certainly something that's very prevalent. We have to worry about our children. And I don't know how long ago it's been since you've been on a big yellow school bus, but they can be quite active, and they can be, the children can be quite problematic at times, just because they're kids, and they've got lots of energy. So let's start with the electric buses are so much quieter. So, their story, and he was telling me about it, where they got this idea and thought it was a brilliant idea. Somehow, some way, a child wanted to sit close, and I'm going to get some of the facts wrong, but hopefully you'll get the gist of the story. And Casey can say, well, he didn't really know. Here's what really happened at some point in time. But anyway, a child wanted to read a book, How many, we've done it on several,
We started it Friday on one bus, we only have one of those pieces right now. And we did it today in the afternoon, and Sharon said that Friday after the kid read for an entire hour while he was on that bus. From the time he got picked up from Peterball, and it's her very last stop, which is CM Monroe, read the entire time. And not only that, is Friday when she come to me and asked her about it, she said that she's got 12 kids that can't wait to read next on the bus, which, and I asked her, I said, how was the bus? Because that bus can get pretty loud at times. She goes, you're gonna have a few that are still kind of ornery. She goes, but most part, everybody wanted to listen, but what's cool about it is I have 10 or 12 that can't wait to read.
Yes.
And put them on the list, which is pretty cool.
So you equate that to just some good old fashioned teaching and having the heart of a teacher and doing things, I mean, $20 per bus basically, and maybe get some safety measures. And I thought that was an amazing story. I thought that was, brilliant, just like Fundamental 5. Very simple concepts, but when put in action, have this level of synergy that all of a sudden the classroom teacher who doesn't have that classroom management skill, if they'll follow these, this is a blueprint for classroom management and teaching and getting towards the overall goal of student achievement. So anyway, sorry to tell your story. We're gonna keep that up, and we're getting all those headsets and get her going.
I think too, just looking at it just as a disciplinary, it's helped already. And we only have one, and she's used it Friday, and she used it today after school. But not only getting people kind of out of their element, which everybody in here knows I don't like public speaking, and like this right here is gonna help a kid put on a microphone, talk in front of a lot of other kids that he or she doesn't know. And not only that, you get to thinking about like AR goals. I mean, the bus driver's gonna have a list and knows he's gonna read, so if they're trying to search or trying to reach an AR goal, and you can read for 20, 30 minutes on the bus, why not? It's a pretty cool thing. They're $29.99 on Amazon, and before we went and bought a bunch, I need about 9 more. Before I went and bought a few more, wanted to check this one out. It's been working very, very well.
Very good.
All right, thank you, all of you. Moving on to 6 is the statement of the consent agenda. 6.1, the following matters may be approved in their entirety by the board upon motion made, seconded, and passed by a majority vote of the board members. However, upon request by any board member, any one or more of said matters will be removed from the consent agenda and acted upon separately. 7, approval of the consent agenda. We all did this ahead of time. We've had time to read it. Ms. Few, I'd like 7.5 taken off. I have some questions about that. So it's, and we do that now, the discussion, right? You can help me vote on everything but that one. Okay, so I will make the motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of 7.5. Do I have a second? A second from Mr. Salzman. Mrs. Few? Yes. Okay, so 7.5 is consideration and possible board action to approve the revised board policy EIEBD graduation ceremony. Mrs. Few, I just for the board and for my clarification, can you tell me how someone is issued, or if Ms. Smith can, I don't know, is issued a Gear Up cord, what they have to do to be able to receive those?
They participate in Europe. So
Okay.
they participated with their cohort all these years. They've got records that they've kept who's been in Europe. And so it's gonna be the majority of the kids who have been here.
Okay, can you give just a little bit of explanation of what Gear Up is and what it takes to become a part of that? Like, is there an application process? Do they have to keep a grade point up? I mean, can you just give us a little bit of a background of it?
It's not a great point ever, but they help with ICAP, so they do a lot of the activities that is required in ICAP. All of them, they are involved
So this would not be every year?
No, it would be every year.
Okay. I guess I was just a little confused because I know that we voted on these approved boards not too long ago. And if you notice, most of these are based on an honor society, a state degree, academic scholarship. So I just was trying to figure out how this would fit in and keep the integrity of the ones that have already been
Europe
approved.
is an educational thing, I mean, a grant, and everything they do is based on graduation requirements and getting kids to a certain point, to get ready for graduation.
So do they have to be in Europe for a certain amount of time to get this cord? Like if they stop, you see what I mean? Is it something that they just all get it because they participated
I
or?
don't have all of the requirements. Ms. Smith, do you have any idea what the
Say that again?
requirements are to get the Garrett cord? I feel like he keeps it, what's he called?
The sponsor, the Garrett director or the
I don't know
coordinator?
of any
Our
other
coordinator,
Uh-huh.
our Garrett coordinator, he has files on all the kids, and he keeps track of all the things that they complete. So I'm not sure, how, the point system on that, how they all get it, but, I don't know the answer to that. Find that out.
All right, does anybody else have any questions?
That was the questions that we asked them, you know, and that's the things that they told us. Everything they do is educational based.
I know some, quite a bit about Garrett. I think I guess my question, I'm probably just having a hard time wording it, is that if you look at the rest of them, there are specific things these kids have to do to get these cords. So I just didn't know, like I said, to keep the integrity of it.
I don't think it's gonna be every senior,
Mhm.
because
Right,
all of them participate,
okay.
so.
Okay. All right, so, I will accept a motion to, let me get back here, to revise the board policy EIEBD graduation ceremony to include Gear Up. We have a motion, do we have a second?
Yes.
Okay, Mrs. Pugh?
Yes.
Salzman? I didn't make a motion. I will accept a motion. Okay, okay, and who's the second? Second, okay, Mrs. Pugh? Mr. Salzman? No? He said no? It won't pass? Okay. All right. So, moving on, to 9, we have business. 9.1, consideration and possible action on going into executive session to discuss the employment and resignation of personnel as identified on the attached exhibit A and E for the 2023-2024 school year, all in accordance with the provisions of 25 OS Section 307E1. I will make the motion to go into executive session. Do I have a second? And Mrs. Pugh? Yes. Okay, it's 6:44 and we're in